Welcome to the Rider Guys. Riders win 38-27 over the Toronto Argonauts last weekend. Huge victory. Big difference being they could have been 1-4 as opposed to 2-3, which is what they are now after that game. That's huge. I think that this is a big load off their back. Hopefully now they can just go ahead, move forward, and play football. Lee, 38-27 win. What stood out for you?
Well, I'll say what stood out for me in a second, but
what didn't you like?
I didn't like how the game started and how, like, it's so scary when, it wasn't like they were killing us, but it was, we really couldn't generate anything on offense. And our defense was getting, like, even though it wasn't like long bombs, like broken coverage, they get like a touchdown for 50 yards. It was just like, it was constant first downs for the first little bit there, but they ended up shutting it down, and we ended up scoring and winning the game. So nothing really to complain about. But really,
I got one thing I want to complain about. Go ahead. You go.
Now you go, because I'm going to talk about stats. So go.
All right. One thing everybody saw: Naaman Roosevelt get a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for doing the old throwing his arm up motion there when he thought that there was pass interference late in the game. I have no issue with the flag. But the week before, and I spoke about this on the last episode, McDaniels from Calgary did it all bloody game. Never got one flag, but they would challenge everything, and they would and it would be pass interference. It drives me crazy, the inconsistency sometimes with the refereeing. You guys have got to get it together. I wanted to just get that off my chest. I'm good. Anyways, I'm real happy with the win. Saw a lot of really good things. Lee's going to touch on some stats.
Kevin Glenn threw 24 for 37, 340 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions.
That was big.
Which was awesome.
Great game. Started off slow, but man, he had a great game. Good job, Kevin.
Cameron Marshall, he had 18 attempts, 110 yards, and he averaged 6.1 yards per carry, which is an amazing average for a game.
He was a beast.
He, I honestly, like, every time I see him run, even when he only gets like 4 or 5 yards, it's the most, like,
he runs hard,
intense 5 yards you're ever going to see. Like, he's the type of guy who, if he's getting tackled, he's not going to quit until he is on the ground. Even when he's on the ground, he's still crawling to try to get more yards. He doesn't quit. He just has a constant motor, and it never stops running. So receiving for me, Deron Carter. Amazing catch in the end zone.
What?
And it was insane. Like,
that was all over, even in the States. ESPN, Sports Illustrated talked about it. That was a big deal. That was an amazing catch.
It was an amazing catch. He also had 2 touchdowns, 137 yards. 131 yards and 9 receptions.
The thing that I really liked was the fact that we've got so many weapons as far as our receivers go, that you can double coverage one guy, you can double coverage Naaman Roosevelt all you want, and there's going to be Carter, there's going to be Bakari Grant, there's going to be Rob Bagg, there's going to be a laundry list of guys, and it's awesome. That makes us really, really tough to scheme against, and it's a beautiful thing when you see it all come together.
I have to say one thing. Rob Bagg has not been thrown to that much at all, but I can say one thing. Every time he is thrown to, he has caught the ball. Every single time.
That's what he does. We're so deep in receiver right now. It's a great problem to have. Kevin Glenn is really starting to, as the season's progressing here a little bit, he's really starting to spread out the ball. I think that the first few games he was kind of struggling to find his groove. Hopefully everything we saw on the weekend there against Toronto is just going to carry over into the next game against BC. That's going to be a tough one, but hopefully he can just keep the momentum rolling.
Also, Bakari Grant had 5 receptions for 115 yards.
He was key late in the game.
He
locked it down.
He was very good. I kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of like on and off with some of the receivers we have, because, like, in my opinion, like, I know Ricky Collins is hurt, but in my opinion, Ricky Collins is probably, like, maybe our 4th, 3rd best receiver on the team. That's my opinion, because I found that every time the ball is thrown up to him, he's catching it. If it's a catchable ball, he's going to catch the ball. And that's what I like, is that I like guys like that you can, if somebody's rushing at you, you can toss the ball up to him. He's like Duron Carter. Him and
They'll
Duron
go up
Carter,
and get it.
Naaman Roosevelt. We have so many receivers like that, but especially
Ollie.
Duron Carter and Collins. They're two guys that just like, they just, something in them, their hands are always in the right spot. Hawley, he got the game sealer, touchdown, catch in the end zone to seal the game. And then Naaman Roosevelt, he didn't have amazing, but he had 5 receptions, 51 yards, but his touchdown was an amazing catch.
That was a beauty. Yeah.
We had two amazing catches this game. Duron Carter's, of course, being, more amazing, but Roosevelt's catch, that's a tough catch because
it is. It's a catch that he should make, but he made it. I mean, it was a tough catch.
Right here, your helmet here, and the ball is like here. Plus, he had like 2 defenders on him too, and his head hit the ground really hard. Just some like defensive stats. Willie Jefferson had a monster game. He had 9 tackles, 1 sack, and he had a pat down too. He smacked the ball down as well.
Willie was. He just keeps evolving as a great rush end, and I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do. I think he still leads the league in hurries and quarterback hurries.
I'm finally glad that we have a D line that is getting, because we had like 4 sacks this game. Last year we had like 6 sacks over the season.
We had no pass rush last year.
We had no, like when we had a sack, it was like we would celebrate a sack like a touchdown, because it was like we just never got sacks ever last year. But now we're getting sacks all the time.
It's been nice to see. Yeah. Hopefully we'll keep that up against BC, because we're going to need to have a pass rush against, I'm assuming it's going to be Lule starting, and he's been hot. And if everybody remembers back a few years, Lule always seemed to play well against the Riders, so hopefully we can come up big. It would be awesome to beat them in BC place. That would be amazing.
Toby and Taija, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. How is it?
I think you got it. And Taija and
he actually had a really good game. He had 4 tackles,
anybody knows, let
2
us know.
sacks. Yeah, he had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, which is actually really good. But I'm just going to touch on a couple of Toronto Argonauts. So, Ricky Ray, of course,
ageless.
I guess he just came out and was like, I don't care, he's still young. So he's been having a monster season. He threw 28 for 38, 386 yards, 3 touchdowns.
That's one of the best starts, actually, I think they said in Ricky Ray's career.
Yeah, he had a
is
really
this season so far. Now, I think a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that who's the head coach, Mark Trestman. We all saw what he did with Calvillo for years and years and years. He turned him, he made him finish his career extremely strong, and then wasn't the same once Trestman left for the NFL again. So I think Trestman has a lot to do with that. But Ricky Ray looks like he's found the fountain of youth, because he's playing well. Thank goodness we were able to just, Kevin Glenn was able to just better him up by a little bit, and we won by 11 points. So,
gotta say one more thing. Amonte Edwards got rocked.
He did. I thought he was going to be out. When he stood up, he was all wobbly. Looked like he had taken a knockout
even
punch.
Though it was on Toronto Argonauts, I felt bad when he got hit, because I do like Edwards a lot.
So do I. So, we got the game coming up this week. Just to give everybody a bit of a heads up here, we're actually not going to have an episode after this coming game. We're going to be heading out to Saskatchewan, not this weekend, but during the next week. So we're going to be in BC this weekend, so we're going to be away. We're not going to be able to do our episode that we normally would do after the BC game, but we'll do kind of a double catch-up episode after the Rider game that we're going to be at.
Which is also against BC.
Which is also against BC, so we'll do kind of a double-header episode on that one, and we'll touch on both games. We got the big game coming up this weekend, Saturday, 5 p.m. kickoff in BC.
Need to win this game.
We do. This would be huge. To be 3-3 after 6 games would be great, considering the start that we had. So, do you have anything else to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, we will see you on the flip side of not this game, but the home game when BC comes back to Saskatchewan on August 13th. We'll touch base with you after that game. And until then, go Riders.